Have you ever caught yourself thinking about someone for no obvious reason, not because you were trying to relive the past, not because you couldn't move on, but because somehow their memory keeps finding you when life becomes quiet? Most people assume that if someone stays silent, they've already let go, but human emotions rarely work that neatly. Sometimes the people who disappear from our lives continue carrying thoughts they never speak aloud, not because they expect everything to go back to the way it was, because certain connections leave emotions that never found a proper ending. Psychology suggests that when a relationship ends without emotional resolution, both people may continue processing it long after the conversations stop. The silence, you see, doesn't always reflect what's happening inside someone's mind. So why does the person you can't seem to forget sometimes appear unable to forget you too? Let's explore the hidden psychology behind it. Number 1, they keep replaying the ending, even if they never admit it. Some people become experts at looking like they've moved on. They laugh with friends. They focus on work. They fill every empty hour with something to do. From the outside, everything seems normal, but quiet moments often reveal what busy days hide. Late at night, during a long drive, or while hearing a song they haven't heard in years, their mind drifts back to the last chapter the two of you shared, not because they enjoy holding on to the past, because unanswered emotions naturally search for understanding. Psychologists often explain that our minds dislike unfinished experiences. When something meaningful ends without clarity, the brain quietly revisits it, hoping to make sense of what happened. That's why small reminders suddenly become powerful. A familiar place, a certain perfume, a sentence someone else says without thinking. None of those moments are planned, yet they can instantly bring back feelings that seemed forgotten. The surprising part is this: remembering someone doesn't always mean wanting the relationship back. Sometimes it's simply the heart searching for the understanding it never received, and for them, that search may still be happening. Number 2, they secretly wonder if they're still part of your thoughts. There are questions people carry for a long time without ever saying them aloud. Not because the questions are unimportant, because hearing the wrong answer feels terrifying. One thought returns again and again. Do they ever think about me anymore? It sounds simple, but emotionally, it's one of the hardest questions to escape. They picture your new routine. They imagine who you're spending time with. They hope life has been kind to you. At the same time, a quiet part of them hopes they haven't completely faded from your world. It's a strange emotional contradiction, wanting someone to be happy, while wondering if they still remember the moments only the two of you shared. That's why they hesitate to send a message, not because they no longer care, because they don't know whether hearing from them would be welcome or unwanted. So instead, they stay silent and allow imagination to answer the questions reality never does. But silence doesn't always come from uncertainty alone. Sometimes it comes from something much deeper. Number 3, pride built the distance, but it couldn't erase the feelings. Not every goodbye happens because love disappears. Sometimes it happens because neither person knows how to be vulnerable anymore. After being hurt, people often make silent promises to themselves: I won't be the first one to reach out. At first, it feels like protecting their dignity, but as days become weeks and weeks become months, that decision becomes harder to undo. Every passing day makes the silence feel more permanent. Eventually, they begin believing it's probably too late now. Yet emotions don't follow calendars. Real attachment rarely disappears simply because enough time has passed. Many people continue carrying genuine affection long after they've stopped talking about it. Not because they enjoy living in memories, because meaningful emotional bonds leave lasting patterns inside the mind. Those patterns don't vanish overnight. In fact, the longer someone hides what they truly feel, the heavier those feelings can become. which creates one of the quietest emotional struggles people rarely admit. The person who appears the strongest may secretly be hoping the other person speaks first. Number 4, they compare new connections to what they once had with you. People often say time changes everything. In many ways it does. New faces appear. New routines begin. Life keeps moving whether we're ready or not. But moving forward doesn't always erase comparison. They may meet someone thoughtful, someone who genuinely cares, someone who seems like the perfect match. Yet every now and then, something feels different, not wrong, just unfamiliar. They remember how conversations with you never felt forced, how silence could exist without becoming uncomfortable, how you understood emotions they never had to explain. Those memories quietly become the standard their mind measures against. Not because they're trying to stay trapped in the past, because meaningful experiences naturally influence what we expect in the future. Psychologists often describe this as emotional referencing. Our strongest relationships shape the way we evaluate every connection that follows, and sometimes that realization leads to one difficult question. What if I walked away from someone who truly understood me? It's not a thought that appears every day, but when it does, it's surprisingly difficult to ignore. Number 5, deep down, they hope you'll share one honest conversation. Again, most people imagine that reconnecting starts with a dramatic confession. Real life is usually much quieter. It begins with a simple possibility. If we ever talk again, I hope we're finally honest. No pretending everything was fine. No trying to prove who was right. No hiding behind pride. Just two people speaking without fear for the first time. That's the conversation many people secretly imagine, not because they expect the past to return, because they want to stop wondering what might have happened if both hearts had spoken openly. Relationship psychology suggests that unresolved emotional bonds often create a longing for clarity, not necessarily for reconciliation. Sometimes that conversation brings two people back together. Sometimes it simply allows both people to move forward with PACP either way. Honesty becomes more valuable than winning, and that's the conversation they still picture when no one else is watching. Number 6. They miss the little things more than the big moments. When people think about someone they loved, it's rarely the grand memories that return first. It's the ordinary ones, the way you laughed without thinking, the messages that arrived at exactly the right moment, the quiet comfort of sitting together without needing to fill every second with conversation. Those tiny moments never seemed important while they were happening, but after they're gone, they become priceless. Life continues, new responsibilities appear. The days become busy again, yet every so often, a familiar smell, a place, a song, or even a random conversation brings those memories back without warning. In those moments, they don't simply miss the relationship, they miss the version of themselves that existed, when they felt emotionally safe with you, and sometimes that's the hardest feeling of all, because genuine emotional safety is something people rarely appreciate until it's gone. Number 7, the truth they may never say out loud. If they ever reach out, it probably won't begin with a perfect explanation. There won't be a movie-style speech, no dramatic declaration. It may begin with something incredibly ordinary. Hey, how have you been? Just a few simple words, but behind those words there may be months or even years of emotions they never found the courage to express, because people don't always return after forgetting someone. Sometimes they return after finally becoming honest with themselves. Of course, no one can promise that every story ends this way. Every relationship is different. Every person heals differently. But one truth remains remarkably consistent. The people who leave the deepest emotional impact rarely disappear overnight. They become part of the lessons we carry, part of the memories that quietly shape us, and part of the person we eventually become. So if someone has crossed your mind recently, don't assume it's proof they're coming back. And don't assume they've forgotten you either. The human heart is far more complicated than silence makes it seem. Sometimes the only way to discover the truth is through an honest conversation instead of endless assumptions. If today's video made you reflect on someone from your past, let us know in the comments. Have you ever wondered whether someone was thinking about you long after the relationship ended? And if you enjoy exploring the hidden psychology behind love, attachment, and emotional healing, subscribe for more thoughtful conversations. Until next time, take care of your heart. Because the emotions people speak about the least are often the ones they carry the longest.